As the morning mist danced above the tranquil surface of Xuanhuang Lake, the city of Dalat awakened with gentle whispers and the lingering promise of a new day. The air was crisp, perfumed with pine and delicate traces of blooming flowers, a scent unique to this highland retreat of Vietnam. The lake itself, a centerpiece of the city's charm, mirrored the soft pastel hues of the awakening sky, interrupted only by the occasional ripple from a passing swan or the slight breeze that stroked its calm face. Amid the quietude and expectation of dawn, a solitary figure began her slow walk along the paved pathway, circling the water. She was impossible to miss. Draped in a vibrant, flowing red dress, she appeared almost ethereal, a striking splash of color against the subdued greens and blues of the lakeside morning. Her steps were measured, graceful, as if she knew she was drifting through a living painting. For the few early risers, cyclists passing by, fishermen tending to their lines, street vendors preparing for another day of business, the sight of the woman in red sparked more than a few double takes. There was an elegance to her movement and a mysterious air, as though she bore all the stories of Xuanhuang Lake within her. Who was she? A performer lost in a moment, a bride-to-be waiting for her photographer. To wonder was to become a part of the unfolding story. Her dress, vivid against the cool blues, caught the rising sunlight and threw off a soft, golden reflection onto the water's surface. With each step, she seemed to float, her figure reflected twice, once in the lake and once in the curious gazes of those whose mornings she had brightened. The city, still stretching and yawning awake, suddenly found a hint of excitement in the air. Vendors exchanged glances and hushed speculations. Cyclists slowed, risking lost momentum for a better look, their curiosity piqued by the image she presented. As she reached a bench beneath a weeping willow, she paused and gazed out over the water, her eyes distant, her thoughts private. Perhaps she reminisced about a childhood spent skipping stones across the lake, or maybe she dreamed of love lost and found, secrets sealed beneath the glassy surface. In that reflective moment, she became timeless, her presence a bridge between the past and present, rooted in the memories of all who frequented this beloved place. A gentle breeze brushed across the lake, and her dress fluttered like the petal of a red poppy. Tourists, already assembling along the lake shore, lifted cameras and phones, not wanting to miss the vision she conjured. But none of their snapshots could capture the full magic of the scene, the play of sunlight through red fabric, the hush of the willow trees. The way her presence seemed to hush even the city's usual bustle. Beyond the lakeside path, the city of Dalat continued its daily rhythm. Motorbikes zipped along distant streets. Flower sellers arranged vivid bouquets on roadside stalls, and the aroma of fresh coffee drifted from cozy cafes tucked behind rows of hydrangeas. Yet, for many navigating the ordinary, the image of the woman in red lingered like a melody. Sightings were reported and retold, and soon tales of her presence became a topic for conversation. A modern legend in the making. Back at the lake, an old man sitting on a nearby bench found himself remembering stories from his youth. He recalled how Xuanhuang Lake had been a place for courtship, heartfelt confessions, and hopeful beginnings. Watching the woman in red, he was transported to an era when stolen glances meant everything, and a girl in a bright dress could change the entire course of a morning. A street artist, inspired by the surreal beauty of the moment, quickly began to sketch, His charcoal traced her elegant silhouette, capturing the soft lines of her dress and the enigmatic set of her posture. Around him, children played, laughing as their parents pointed out the woman who seemed to glow with all the promise the lake could offer. As the sun continued to rise, the light grew warmer. The reflection of the woman in red shimmered and wavered, almost as if she were a dream, a memory briefly touching reality. Some might have expected her to vanish with the mist, to dissolve into another legend among the many that Dalat and its beloved lake had collected over the years. But she remained, taking her time, looping the lake path, stopping here and there to peer into the water, to breathe in the scent of flowers, to perhaps savor her moment as the living embodiment of artistry and grace. It was as if she belonged not just to herself, but to everyone who needed a little wonder, everyone who wished to believe that magic was real, if only for a morning along the lake shore. By mid-morning, the city's energy was in full swing. School children crossed the bridge that stretched across one arm of the lake, their laughter filling the air. Vendors hawked their wares to groups of tourists wandering under the pine trees. And still, the red-dressed woman moved at her own pace, a gentle echo of possibility in the midst of daily life. For each person who saw her, she took on a new meaning. To the old man, she revived lost time. To the artist, she offered inspiration. To the child, she was a fairy tale come to life. And to the city collective, she became something larger, proof that beauty, mystery, and hope were not just the subjects of stories told at night, but waking wonders that appeared when least expected. As the day wore on and the city grew busy, the woman in red eventually retraced her path, her dress catching the sunlight one last time as she paused at the spot where water met earth. With a serene smile, she looked back at the lake, her gaze holding both tenderness and resolve. In her quiet exit, she left behind a ripple of inspiration, of awe, of the possibility that the extraordinary could step quietly, gracefully, into any ordinary day. Long after she had gone, her presence lingered, in the sketches sold on the street, in the stories shared over cups of coffee, in the admiring glances that now greeted every pop of color along Xuanhuang's edge. She had become a symbol, a fleeting apparition who reminded everyone that the world is full of moments waiting to be noticed, and that sometimes all it takes is a woman in red to transform a familiar landscape into something miraculous and new.